this time on the branch.
Double.
Welcome back on the branch.
Hey, Harry, you're such a lifesaver. Hey, this is a Harry situation.
Jamie's just going through all the puns that she can think of.
To the lighthouse.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if going back to the previous topic of New Game Plus endings, if we were in New Game Plus, this would be about where we would be able to trigger the alien abduction ending. When she gets to the top of the lighthouse, she could shine the Channeler Stone, and a UFO picks Harry up, and that's the end of the game. So again, if the developers had intended for the Good Plus ending to be a New Game Plus ending,
I see you, motherfucker.
Like a non-series, not necessarily canonical.
Right, then they could have done that easily in the same way that they did the Alien ending.
And actually, because I think just playing this on my own, I probably would have missed.
Gotcha, bitch.
I don't know. I might have picked up. There's a good 50% chance that I would have picked up the bottle and gotten the liquid in it. But hearing that line that Delilah said about use the
Dahlia.
Yeah, well, that's her name.
Yeah.
Use the florist or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I think I would have been able to infer that that's what she means.
Well,
with
the Flowros is a separate item. It's the Flowros is the little triangle, pyramid shaped, like Rubik's cube looking thing. That I think Harry got that from when he first met Dahlia in the church, that little chapel.
And I would have inferred that to mean the liquid.
No, the liquid is called. Let's see if I can get this right. Aglaopohodus.
A really complicated name.
It's actually a real word. One of the things that makes the Silent Hill games work so well is that the team either really knew a lot about black magic and occultism, or they did a lot of research, because all of the words, all the language, the terminology that is in the game are, as I understand it, pretty accurate to real world occultism terminology and practices. So the Flauros is actually in real world occultism beliefs, some kind of mechanism for trapping demons. And Aglaopohodus or Aglaophodus or however the heck you pronounce it is actually believed by occult believers to be a demon warding chemical potion kind of thing. Yeah.
Because they believed in alchemy and all that back then.
Right. So, people still believe in it now.
Well, yeah.
So there's a very, it gives the game a very grounded quality, right? I mean, if you're even passingly familiar with some of this stuff, you're going to recognize these sorts of things.
Yeah.
And even if you're not passively familiar with it, Team Silent did the research. They made it, I don't want to use the word believable, because that implies that I believe in occultist stuff, right, which I don't. But real people really do believe this stuff.
Yes.
Right?
Just like people really believe that the world is still flat.
Yeah. So the team took it very seriously. It's not just a joke that, it's a bunch of cultists and we're going to make them say and do a bunch of crazy things. It's
we found this cultist word. Let's make them use it.
They actually, the cult that's in this game is influenced by real world occultism. And that's another thing that when the development of the series moved outside of Konami to the third party developers, that was lost, because the third party developers just basically kind of were like, they're a bunch of crazy cultists. We're going to just make up a bunch of crap, right?
Instead of being the really involved, intricate, we've done our homework research. These are actual things that have happened.
Right. So, it's just, and a lot of it comes off as lazy and contrived and, just not very well thought out. Whereas in these first games, again, there's a certain degree of realness and believability to
that because people have believed this in real world, the story therefore feels more believable.
Right, you can go on Wikipedia right now and look up Aglaopohodus if you can figure out how to spell it. Yeah, or Flauros.
Or whatever the hell evil demon thing is in this.
There are Wikipedia articles about those things, and they do not just talk about them being referenced in Silent Hill. you can get an entire Wikipedia history on what people believe Aglaia is and what its possible ingredients might be and how to possibly concoct it and what it might do and its history and stuff like that in like literature and folklore. Whereas, good luck finding a Wikipedia article about any of the, occult items that are in, Silent Hill Homecoming.
Yeah.
It's possible maybe they did find some stuff. But I would not be surprised if you won't find anything because I don't think that they used real world occultism as an inspiration for that game.
Like a lot of gibberish and made up crap.
Yeah, they used this game's cult as the inspiration for that game.
They referenced a reference, and as everyone knows,
right,
you should not do that.
Right, they made the clone of the clone, and now
it's all deformed.
And now it's deformed and retarded and puts pizza in its wallet.
Shit.
Oh, that's an interesting metaphor.
Are you not familiar with that?
I've never heard.
You never saw the movie Multiplicity with Michael Keaton and Michael Keaton and Michael Keaton and Michael Keaton?
It sounds like something that I may have seen, but I just don't recall it. Please tell me about Michael Keaton.
I think it was Michael Keaton. I'm pretty sure it was Michael Keaton. It was a movie. It was probably like in the mid to late 90s, maybe. Basically, Michael Keaton makes a bunch of clones of himself so that he can send his clones like to the office to work for him.
Yeah.
And he can like.
It's the ultimate like lazy person dream.
Yeah, and then eventually, like the clones start to get lazy, and so they make a clone of themselves. And because it's a clone of a clone, it's not like a pure copy. He's like he's like retarded.
Yeah, so he just starts doing dumb things.
Yeah, and one of the things that he does is he keeps a slice of pizza in his wallet in his pocket because he likes pizza.
And, gotta have it convenient.
And I like pizza, Steve. Is a line from the movie. It's good. It's a funny movie. At least I remember it being funny, but I saw it like 20 years ago.
Maybe we can add that to the bad movie night list.
Yeah, I don't know if it's a bad movie. I don't know if it's a good movie. I don't remember. I was probably a teenager when I saw it.
Yes, but we could watch it anyway, and it'll be a surprise.
Yeah, it's true. It could be. So if you're listening to this, and if Multiplicity is actually widely regarded as a terrible movie, then
don't let us know. Just encourage us to watch it.
Yeah, then don't tell. I'm not recommending it. On the other hand, if it actually is a well-regarded movie, then by all means, do go out and watch it, because I remember it being pretty funny. But,
It sounds like it would be pretty funny. We definitely should add it to Bad Movie Night. That thing that we are slowly trying to do.
Yeah, and Michael Keaton's great.
Who's Michael Keaton?
The 1989 Batman.
Oh, right, that one. Okay.
Yeah.
It was one of those names that's just like, I recognize the name, but it's like, where are you from?
And I actually just, speaking of Michael Keaton, I just recently, last night, watched Batman Returns for like the first time since I was probably like a teenager.
Returns was the one with...
Danny DeVito as the Penguin and Michelle Pfeiffer as Catwoman. And it also had, what's his name, Christopher Walken in it as random business guy dude, who's like the actual bad guy of the movie.
And that one takes place after...
Yeah, it was the sequel to the Michael Keaton, Jack Nicholson, Joker.
Right,
Batman
but
movie.
It wasn't... Okay, so Mr. Freeze and all that one was the third one.
No, that was the fourth one. The third one was Batman Forever, with Chris O'Donnell being introduced as Robin, and Jim Carrey was the Riddler. And
I feel like I liked that.
And Tommy Lee Jones was Two-Face.
At least as a kid.
Yeah, Batman Forever is, I mean, especially like compared to Batman and Robin. Batman and Robin is god-awful, terrible. So compared to Batman and Robin, Batman Forever is like a friggin' masterpiece. But it's one of those kind of meh movies where like parts of it work really well and then other parts of it like don't work so well. Like for example, like Tommy Lee Jones totally
I don't know if you caught that real quick, by the way, but at least to me, the way that I saw that go down just now, it looked like Jamie just ran down the fucking dock just to kick a dog. And
yeah,
ran
no,
away.
she did. I think she'd killed it from like below earlier when she was walking up there. But yeah, it was like, oh look, a dying dog. Here, let me kick it.
It was was just funny out of context.
Because that's let's see how well Jamie handles navigating this spiral staircase with tank controls.
This is gonna be fun.
This should be fun.
Oh. Anyway, I'm sorry. I was sorry to interrupt your Michael Keaton rant.
Yeah, I don't remember what I was talking about Batman Forever being kind of, sort of, maybe almost good.
Here we go.
Yeah, good luck with that.
I mean, honestly, she doesn't seem to be doing too bad.
She's doing all right. I mean, I'm at the point where I can run up these stairs in this game, but I mean, I just have to imagine, the game.
I mean, that's one way to do it.
Yeah, I just have to imagine a game developer just kind of laughing to himself, like, ha 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 ha.
They had to go up these stairs in a really weird fashion.
Yeah.
Cutscene!
Well then.
Glowy floor! That is a runic sigil. Great!
Wait, who was that?
That's the little girl from the beginning of the game that made you crash the car.
That was
right.
And then we've seen the.
Why was there a question mark at the end of that fucking sentence?
And then,
that wasn't a question.
That's not Cheryl, though.
No.
That's
some other girl.
That's some weird
fucking hell.
teenager lady.
Maybe I do this here?
Yep, so now comes the part. And
Oh.
here's another thing, too, is parts like this are conditioning the player to, like, test out things in their inventory. Right? Like, you get up here and you're like, oh, what am I supposed to do?
Maybe.
I don't know. Go for it. Just spray. It's like Demon Raid, right? She's gonna spray it around, and all the demons are just gonna fall over on their backs and
raid, and then just fall over and
curl up. Yeah, we need a what are they called? A roach bomb.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's something funny about this lighthouse. I know. The beacon isn't on.
That's true. The beacon is not on.
I also don't know if you're at the top or not. But then again, I don't think I've ever been inside a lighthouse.
I don't know. It looks pretty topish to me.
I've only seen, like, depictions of lighthouses.
Okay, so let's see. I tried that.
I don't think she actually tried the florist, did she?
You can't use the flowers. It doesn't even have an option to use it.
No?
So this is one of the parts where she's just going to go through her inventory being like, I don't know what the hell to do. When in fact what she's supposed to do, at least as far as I remember, is just go back.
A bit quieter.
Go back down the stairs.
Ah.
I don't think there's anything else to do up here. It's you find the little girl and are like,
it.
Okay.
That was weird.
Bye.
Report to Sybil. Hey, there was a little girl at the top of there.
Right.
Can't use that here.
So you're looking for Cheryl, right?
Right.
And so I think, if I remember correctly, Dahlia was telling you that she's either at the amusement park or she's at the lighthouse. And Sybil's like, I'll check the amusement park and you check the lighthouse. So you get here and you find some.
I thought Sybil said meet me at the lighthouse.
No, Sybil said she's going to the amusement park.
Flashlight, radio. I have no idea.
Do we want to enlighten Jamie?
Yeah, let's let her.
Let her go for another minute or two.
I don't.
She's stuck.
Is there supposed to be some sort of context clue here? I am just missing.
No, she's just gonna wander around.
Right, but that's what happens to people when they get to this part. They don't know what to do.
Where do I go?
What do I do?
None of my items work.
There's nothing here to shoot. There's no buttons to push. There's no doors to open. There's no items in my inventory that seem to do anything.
It's just strange context.
Do I just leave? Seems pretty pointless.
And, it could be that maybe this is something that's, maybe not finished, right? Maybe there was supposed to be something. Maybe there was supposed to be a boss fight up here or like a whole level or something like that. It had to be cut for time. I don't know.
Oh, that would be a good thing to ask if you ever got to talk to the developers.
Yeah. I mean, I don't maybe they don't even know. Who knows? But again, if we were playing in a New Game Plus, this would be where you would summon the aliens.
Oh, this is like right here?
Right here is where you summon the aliens and then the game's over.
Okay. She doesn't have that item, right? Like
Correct. You can only pick that item up in a New Game Plus.
Okay. And then she would have also had to have been doing things along the way to do the...
Yeah, there's like 3 or 4 places. Like one of them was like when you first get into the school and it's the other world, like this same symbol here is like on the courtyard. Like when you first walk out.
Oh, I remember, because like when we were going to the post office, there was one of these on like one of the garage doors or something.
Well,
yeah.
Yeah,
so whenever you see this symbol in the game, you're supposed to use the channeling stone in New Game Plus, and then when you get to this point, it triggers the alternate ending where you get abducted by aliens. Yeah, shoot the lighthouse.
Shoot that pole.
The lighthouse has a health bar.
Fucking hell.
And now back down the stairs. Or up the stairs.
Depending on what you want to do.
Or down the stairs, or up the stairs.
Oh, we're gonna back
beep,
down the stairs.
Beep, beep. Here we go.
Whee.
Down the. This is actually a pretty neat camera effect, though.
Yeah.
For PlayStation 1 era, that's and this game is loaded with a lot of nice camera tricks like this that they got to do because it's a 3-dimensional environment. Resident Evil sure as hell wasn't doing anything like that at the time.
Anyway.
Lighthouse again.
Lighthouse 2.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I'm curious if she gets like a cutscene like right out the door.
What the fuck? Crazy old bitch! Sending me on a wild fucking goose chase?
I think it's mostly just an excuse to split Harry and Sybil up.
Yeah, it sounds like it.
We got to give them 2 different places to go because we don't want to have an escort quest right here.
Yeah, basically. Give them reason to not be together.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like, what would be nice in like a game like Silent Hill? Is
okay.
Hasn't come back.
Basically like a journal feature.
Bitch, the
like
amusement park is probably a lot farther away.
Silent Hill Downpour added something along those lines. And it was an okay feature. The big complaint that I had with the journal in Silent Hill Downpour was that it didn't have like hyperlinks or anything to help you navigate. So like
if you had ran across an important name, you couldn't like hit it to cross-reference something.
Yeah, or like if you had like a note or something about like doing a particular because this Silent Hill Downpour had like a quest structure, like almost an RPG kind of structure to it, where you have like quests that you can do. But like the journal, you couldn't like click on a quest and like hyperlink to like relevant documents or vice versa.
I think we need to make our own Silent Hill game.
I mean.
That's definitely a change in music.
It would be tricky. I mean, I'm not.
We'll just
it's
name
one
the IP Quiet Rolling Landscape or something.
It's one thing to recognize good qualities about something. It's a totally different thing to make it yourself or replicate it, and that's why horror and comedy in particular are so difficult to do. Mm-hmm. Because for one thing, both of those are subjective traits.
Yeah, everything is completely subjective. It's how the audience takes it.
Right, and so horror is very, very difficult to pull off. Like the fact that there are any like horror movies that are universally regarded as being scary and good is almost kind of miraculous.
Yeah, kind of like, because everything ages at some point. It's like, how back, what like 50-something years ago, Dracula and Frankenstein were considered scary, but it's like you look at it now and it's like, this is ridiculous. Like, these are really terrible.
So, do I go down
like
the
just
street,
in the
or
context,
do I
like just the fact that it doesn't age.
Yeah, you go through the tunnel, go down into the sewer. That's what that arrow's trying to tell you. Right? Yeah. No, I get your point.
Haha! I was right. I came here after.
It's like the same thing with like comedy bits from different times. It's like, yeah, they're funny at the time, and then they don't necessarily age well. And
right. But some of it does. There are plenty of horror movies and plenty of comedy movies that do age very well. Mm-hmm. Again, Silent Hill 2 and Silent Hill 3, I would say, still hold up with pretty much any game you would care to compare them to right now. The first Silent Hill is very dated, right? This game, graphically, in terms of voice acting and stuff like that, definitely shows its age. But Silent Hill 2 and Silent Hill 3
don't want to step on that.
Still look good,
Well,
and they sound good. You know, a lot of people complain about the voice acting in Silent Hill 2. I think the voice acting conveys exactly what it's supposed to convey, and
So we are here.
by that standard works well.
Yeah. And it's more of also like the first Silent Hill is kind of like prototypey.
Yeah, in many ways, this game is a tech demo.
For Silent Hill 2.
Well, kinda. But the Konami did not expect this game to be successful. It was basically, you know, Resident Evil had just come out, and Konami was like, "Hey, we want a Resident Evil game," and then like for whatever reason, they didn't think that it was going to be successful, and they told the team, you know what, we don't care anymore. Do whatever you want. Use up whatever budget you've got left. You know, make a game, whatever.
About the fucking ceiling
and this is what came out of that.
Shit.
So, not being freed from the pressure of trying to make a hit game was liberating.
Made a good game.
Yeah, it's liberating. They got to do a lot of things in this game that they probably would not have done. They got to take risks, make gambles, and most of them, if not all of them, paid off. And one of my other favorite games, more recently, is Demon Souls. And Demon Souls has a similar story where, you know, the Sony owned the rights to publish it, and like they thought it was going to be a failure. Sony didn't even bother to publish the game in North America or Europe. So a third-party company, I think it was Atlas, ended up doing it, and the game became a smash hit, and like, you know, almost changed the way that RPGs and action games are played.
Because everything is compared to Demon Souls, Dark Souls.
Yeah, I mean, most people give the credit to Dark Souls, but, you know, Dark Souls didn't do anything that Demon Souls hadn't already done.
Right.
Dark Souls was just the one that got popular, right? For one thing, because it was multi-platform.
Yeah, well, it's the Take-Two, basically.
Right. Yeah. Dark Souls was
Silent
a more
Hill
refined version of Demon Souls, and you know, Silent Hill 2 took a lot of the concepts that Konami, that Team Silent had learned from this game, and like perfected it. Right. I mean, Silent Hill 2 is exceptionally well refined. It has some camera issues and some minor little control quirks. You know, there are some rooms that, you know, maybe could have
played a little better.
Maybe been a little bit better at like signposting the player about what you're supposed to do. But like the games are supposed to be a little bit cryptic. Like that's one of the things that makes them work as horror, right? Because you as a player are uncertain about this world and its rules as well. Mm-hmm. So, you know, not knowing what you're supposed to do at any given time like makes you as the player feel lost in the same way that the character is lost wandering around in these mazes.
Trying to figure out where they're going.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
She is going through a crap ton of... Jamie, don't forget you have like melee weapons too.
Yeah, that's what I was...
You might want to use a health drink also.
Yeah,
No, not... Okay, well, too late.
Use the big health drink.
Yeah, that's the cure you 100% thing that you should save for when you're like flashing red.
Fucking really?
So the health drink is the little bit.
The health drink is the little one.
Package.
The first aid kit is the medium, and the
that's the baby.
The ampule is Well, actually, you're kind of right, because when you were in the school, if you remember, there were the little gray babies with the little knives. So I think we talked about this at the time, but in, I want to say the Japanese release of the game, the censors refused to allow the little children demons in the school because it's, you know, taboo to, you know, kill children.
Yeah.
So I believe the Japanese version of the game, all of the monsters in the school are replaced with that little creature with the claw hands.
I really don't like the sound.
The other thing Jamie is forgetting that she can do is run past enemies.
That's also an option. And I don't remember if we talked about some of the different endings for Silent Hill 2, but Silent Hill 2 really cleverly takes advantage of that. And of your expectations for horror games in that.
Oh, right. I think I remember you mentioning this. It's like, depending on how often you're in combat can affect your ending.
It's not combat. It was how often you heal. It was if you keep your character at max health,
You're deemed to like feel.
you get a different ending than if you were to keep your character, if you're not healing your character and you're letting him run around in critical condition throughout the whole game. You know, at the end of the game, he commits suicide because
he's considered to be like, you know,
right, because
not
you
caring about himself.
right,
I think we
exactly.
talked about this last time we were in the sewers.
Bullshit!
Oh, gotta love those jump scares.
It's not even a jump scare. It's
I
just
know, but I mean, just Jamie like, oh shit.
I mean, you want jump scares? Go play Five Nights at Freddy's.
I
but
mean, it technically jump scared her.
yeah, well, it made her jump.
Yeah.
So listeners, yeah, Jamie just like jumped a couple inches off.
That was a classic jump scare.
Yes, that was a
not a like we're intentionally trying to scare you because you died thing.
right. Yeah, it's not a Five Nights at Freddy's jump scare where the whole game is just waiting for a jump scare to happen.
I mean, it kind of makes
Panic
me
mode.
want to go back
I am definitely
and
thinking
make Jamie finish
GTF
playing
o'clock.
Sister Location.
Oh, hello there. Shit.
Sorry, what did you say?
It makes me kind of want to go back and make Jamie play Sister Location.
Sister Location?
It's the fourth Five Nights at Freddy's.
Oh, okay. I played the first one. I haven't played any of the sequels.
I mean, they're not bad.
I don't think I ever beat the first game either. I think I got to the fourth or fifth night, and I never got past it.
You would like the underlying story of the entire game, and probably even the novel that came about because of Five Nights at Freddy's, like the Five Nights at Freddy's novel. It's actually a really
Fuck you and your house.
It was a
the
novel?
Fucking
Yeah,
whatever
there is
the
a
fuck
novel.
you
I'm
call it
actually amazed there hasn't been a Five Nights at Freddy's movie yet. Although I have to imagine that's probably not far off, considering how much Five Nights at
And
Freddy's
fuck
stuff
you
is that
too.
hot
Last
topic.
I heard, because they did try to start developing a movie.
Oh, okay.
I believe it had gotten canceled. I would have to look this up though, because they were gonna have the guy who did the remake of what's that one really popular fucking horror movie with the girl with the head who turns around.
The girl with the head that turns around. You're talking about The Exorcist?
Yes, I think it was like he did like an Exorcist remake or some sort of remake of a very acclaimed horror movie.
And the remake probably sucked.
And the remake sucked because it was a remake of a classic, and that never goes well. It's like a recipe
very
for failure.
rarely goes well. Yeah. There are exceptions. I happen to be actually a very big fan of John Carpenter's The Thing,
Yeah, it just came from that
which is
How the fuck?
sort of mostly a remake of
Map?
of an older movie called I think The Thing from Another World. No, she's got to go that way. I think you can get around the hole.
Yeah, I think she just didn't go all the way around. She just saw a dead body, middle, giant hole, can't go around. Keep going.
Yeah, okay.
No, we're not between episodes, Jamie. We're still in episode.
Oh.
He means. I think she means keep going.
Turn around.
Yes.
Yeah.
You were meant to keep going.
I get a little bit lonely and you never come around.
I mean, Harry is kind of lonely.
And now we're doing Silent Hill karaoke, apparently.
I didn't know Harry was into that. Because, yeah, like all the way right or all the way left. You can, yeah, that thing right there.
Hey, the monster just tutorializes for her.
Come on, Harry. Hit him more, Harry. I didn't say we were done, Harry.
Like, oh, I just wanted to ask you if you had a piece of gum.
Yes.
Just sort of gave him like a pathetic, like, why did you beat the crap out of me?
Or some deodorant.
Or anything.
Take the map.
Literally like right there.
Right, like it's a straight line. I mean,
well, straight lines are very difficult. Do you know how hard it is to draw a
that's
straight
fucking
line?
creepy. Fuck y'all, carousel horses.
Have we been to the amusement park in here before or no?
nope.
Okay. Hey,
But if there's not a cutscene here, I think we're probably going to have to tackle the amusement park next time on the branch.
Exactly, yes. I was just preparing Jamie for
Next
that.
time on the branch?
Yes, next time on the branch. Good job.